Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Boxmining. So what I want to do with this video is talk about the top crypto trends for April of 2019. For this video, I'm going to go for the most biggest trend first. And we're going to go through the other little trends in the background as well. So I hope you guys can stay for the whole video, and also I'm going to talk a little bit about catching up as well at the end. So starting off with the number one trend of April, and that will be the initial exchange offerings. We know that this has been heating up for the longest time. So if you guys are new, what are initial exchange offerings? Essentially, it's a token offering that's done on an exchange. So it gives access to all the customers of that exchange. So yeah, why not? Binance's 7 million customers, they can all just click a button and buy that token sale. So previously, I've been talking about these initial coin offerings before, and you know my stance. I'm not a big fan of these token offerings. But what we can see is that because there's a lot of money at play here, every single exchange is going to jump on. And we see that already. We see Huobi launching Huobi Prime. We see KuCoin. We see Bittrex all jumping in and announcing their initial exchange offering launchpad. So for a lot, why IEOs are amazing opportunities, because for their projects, it means that it gets access to a lot of people, a lot of retail investors that the exchanges have. Exchanges benefit because they have listing fees. Obviously, to be on this launchpad, they can take a bunch of fees. Private sale investors are going to be happy because it means that it's going to be listed on a bigger exchange once the launchpad or the token sale completes on that exchange. But there is one issue, and who's going to lose out is retail in the long run. And that's what I think everyone here, we need to be a little bit cautious about it. It's because in 2018, we saw this huge ICO craze. Everyone's just jumping on the bandwagon, and people stopped caring about the product. What is the final product delivery? We're going to see that exact same case here as well, where people care about the exchange track record. How many successful IEO launches have they had? And how much money did people make from that? That might be a more main decision than core ideas like, what is the idea behind this project? What is the use case of this token? Does it even make sense? It's very likely that a lot of people will not care about that, but just care about, okay, can they make a quick flip? And I feel like that's a big problem when it comes to IEO projects, because these are not mature companies. And this is very different from the IPO space, because for an IPO to happen, there's very specific rules. Like, for example, they have to demonstrate millions of dollars of income. They have to also demonstrate that in the past 3 years, they haven't made a loss as well. These are crucial factors because these are mature companies. But with the IEO space, these are startups. And unfortunately, startups, they're still very early on. They haven't really proven their use case yet. And there's going to be a lot of disappointment along the way as well. Some might even view this as a new round of cutting leaks, 割韭菜 in Chinese. So what is that? It's the whole idea that retail, they're not making rational decisions, and why not take advantage of that? So that's kind of the grim side of what the whole IEO space might be about. And I think you guys are well informed enough to make your own decision when it comes to this whole space. So what we're going to see in April is that every exchange is going to try to prove that they're the best IEO platform. They're going to send out a lot of news, try to generate as much hype that they are the best one possible with the most retail access. And then, of course, they're heavily incentivized to make sure every IEO sells out. So in the short term, lots of hype. In the long term, does this really create value? I'm not very convinced yet. So it's probably going to be ending up like a game of musical chairs. See how long they can run around for and who's going to sit down at the end. Number two trend, gaming. I'm very bullish on gaming after attending this GDC, because I actually started talking to people who know their stuff. And that's going to be the interesting part, because suddenly some people are asking the right questions.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense then that players' time put in, right, when they generate rewards, like ones and zeros, right, like they should be able to trade them and take them somewhere else.
Where it's not about just porting a game over onto the blockchain, just use blockchain for the sake of using blockchain. We're asking the question of, what can we do on a blockchain that can't be done on any other platform? This is really important because no one can take that advantage away from you, because challengers don't have those features that blockchain has. The idea that you can trade value very easily, true item ownership. These are all key aspects that are being discussed right now, and it makes me quite excited to see what we can come up with. It's not going to be games are not going to be produced immediately in April. What I'm saying is that the developers are starting to get the hang of it in April, and game production times can be from a year to 3 years depending on the quality of the game. So that's going to be a little bit of time. But what we do see, even at GDC, is that there are a lot of projects interested. So we saw Stellar guys, 0x Protocol guys, and we saw even recently Ripple announced a $100 million fund for gaming. Tron did the same thing as well earlier. So yeah, lots of interest in the space. Recently, probably saw videos of me attending the Hong Kong Blockchain Week. And what we see is that there are fewer players, but the players start understanding more about the blockchain space. And on top of that, recently, we just saw BAC with a $740 million evaluation. That's kind of crazy if you think about it. And BAC is mostly focused on institutional investment. So just slowly building up the system of kind of understanding of real value in this space. Obviously, what's going to be important is going to be consensus. So consensus, the biggest meetup, I've been talking about that all of last year. Last year was a little bit too crazy, too many people, too much noise. So hopefully this year will be a lot better in terms of just solid understanding. And guys, if you guys are interested in attending Consensus in New York this year, I have a promotional code down below where you can save 15% on Consensus New York. Lastly, STOs. I think this is going to be something that's being put on the back burner for a little bit because all those people that are initially interested in STOs, they're realizing that the legal framework is going to take a lot longer to get used to the fact that we can transact currencies across borders, across regions. So the interesting thing is I think it's going to, because of the whole IEO craze, initial exchange offering craze, a lot of the investors are going to flood over there, whilst creating a more kind of open space for discussion, less noise in the STO space. So interesting developments there as well. And these are my trends for April 2019. What are your trends as well? Do you guys think there's additional things that are going to happen in next month that are exciting? I'd love to discuss with you about that. Personally, with me as well, I've been really much more excited recently, just after GDC, talking to real people that can ship and deliver products. I think it's a very big contrast to normal crypto conferences where you talk about plasma and no one can reciprocate what plasma scaling is on Ethereum. No one understands the system. Suddenly here, I'm having these really deep discussions, like how in plasma you need to design proofs that certain assets leave or not leave platforms, and why these proofs are hard to do because Ethereum doesn't have a UTXO model, and why it's easier to do with non-fungible tokens. Oh, suddenly clicks and makes sense, and why there's this Plasma Cash development, and well, Plasma itself is much harder and much longer time frame. So I'm really, really excited now that there's really legit people in this space. And also we got some really important discussion topics that I made earlier that I'm gonna showcase in the next few weeks. So hope you guys can stay tuned for that. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you smash up that like button, and of course, subscribe to this channel as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time.